Hey everybody, welcome back. HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of Hawaii. We have finally got some new properties in a new subdivision in Hawaii. For the last few months, we've been listing, buying, and selling all in Ocean View Estates in the southern part of the island. Finally, however, we've got some land in a really nice little community called Nanawale Estates that I'm very excited to talk about, and hopefully you will be excited to hear about. So, let's get to it. This is reference number HI3855, located, like our other properties, in Hawaii County, the Big Island. This property is 0.18 acres. That is not 18 acres. That is 0.18, so roughly 1/5 of an acre. And as noted, it is in the subdivision Nanawale Estates. This 1/5 of an acre lot is priced, as you can see up here, affordably at $5,700. And the lot, as you can see from the headline, boasts power and paved road access. We've got a couple corner lots we're debuting on the website. This is what I'm calling a mid-street lot. So this one's right in the middle of a street. Anywho, let's check it out on a map. As with all of our listings, come down here, click any one of the GPS coordinates, and this lot will appear on the Google Maps. So, before we get into specifics, let me introduce the uninitiated to exactly where we are in the world. This specific property sits, as noted, here in Hawaii County, aka the Big Island. It's here in the eastern part of the island in the Puna district, and the property sits here in Nanawale Estates, which conveniently here on Google Maps is labeled for us. If I zoom in, there we go, labeled for us right there. Basically, it's this entire cutout area that you see here, where you've got a lot of homes, you've got paved roads, you've got power snaking all throughout the region, etc. I believe this is about 37 miles of paved roads and about 4,200 lots make up this subdivision. There's some information you didn't need. Anyway, point being, this sits, property right here sits toward the back end of the subdivision. The front end of the sub is out here, linking off of Pahoa Village Road, the 132. And as you'll see, this property is very close to nearby Pahoa. Pahoa, of course, is a happening little town with a lot going on. So you're going to have easy access to schools, churches, hospitals, libraries, any kind of shopping and dining and whatnot. There's a lot of stores here, a lot of town to explore. As you can see, I pointed this out in a couple other videos. There's a Long's Drug up here, Burger King. There's a multi-million-dollar shopping center that's being built right now. We can't see much of it on the map, but it's under construction. And of course, nearby is Ace Hardware. So if this is a lot that you end up buying and something that you're going to be building on, it's going to be nice to have a hardware store in close driving distance, and voila, you have got one. Additionally, if you go further on up the road, you've got the nearby town of I can't pronounce this, Kaiau, up here. Additionally, any other amenities you're going to need, anything that is not in Pahoa, you'll be able to find up here. Again, more schools, more churches, more access to medical facilities if you need that sort of thing, as well as shopping, dining, etc., etc. And as far as nightlife, as far as the biggest city on the island goes, you are only another, 15 minutes away, 30 minutes total from Hilo. Hilo, of course, is the biggest town on the island, most densely populated, and it has most amenities, things you won't find in the other regions, like the golf course over here, like the airport up here, International Airport, as well as, of course, a lot of great beaches here along the northern shore. It is also worth mentioning that within easy driving distance of this property, just down the 130, you're going to come to the Kalapana area over here. There's a lava viewing area, national park region right over here. Additionally, there's the Kalapana night market. It takes place throughout the week. Farmers market, etc. Very, hey, look at that, Awa Bar and Farmers Market. Very well known, a lot of fun out there, etc. Additionally, the 137 is a nice little scenic drive up the highway here, up the side of the island. And the Kahena'a Beach is very close, as well as the Poho'iki Black Sand Beach. So you've got a lot of good spots over here for surfing, not necessarily swimming, but for surfing, and of course for picnics. And all of that in very easy driving distance of the subject property out here in Nanawale Estates. So with all that said, let's show you guys exactly where this is. The property sits here off Pikake Road. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Just northwest of Kapuna Road right here. I just want to show you guys, if you zoom in on this and you go to Google Map View, you will see it looks like there's a structure on the property. There's not. This is a case of the plat overlay being a scooch off. We're using a third-party website here, so it's not going to be perfect. But the point is the lot is vacant, so it looks like this, vacant, doesn't have a house on it, etc., etc., and it is located here. Fortunately, you've got some neighbors around you, so that could be nice if you like that sort of thing. Additionally, of course, this is paved road access and power lines down Pakake, as well as, of course, the neighboring streets. As you can see, there's a lot of people living out here, so everybody's hooked up to the grid. Helco services this area, and of course, we, as always, have their contact information located in the table. Quick thing I want to have you guys note, I mentioned it earlier, there's roughly 4,200 lots in this area. If you watch this whole video and you think, hey, this property looks great, this area looks great, but the lot is too small, again, 1/5 of an acre, I should just have you guys know that's the way this entire subdivision is platted out. Pretty much all of these lots are about 7,500, 8,000 square feet. Occasionally you'll find something a scooch bigger, but not much. We have some bigger properties in Nanawale Estates, but they're all a combination of adjacent acreage that we just happen to be fortunate enough to pick up. So when you see a lot like this, I mean, this is not something anybody's living on or using. I think this is just preserve area, let's call it. So point being, if you're looking for a 5-acre lot or a 10-acre lot out here, it doesn't exist. You have to find adjacent acreage to get something that big. So this is the average size lot out here. I do, however, think there's an advantage to a lot this small, particularly if you're using this as an investment property for an Airbnb type of thing, which is to say that essentially less space for maintenance, less things to worry about as far as landscaping, as far as cutting the grass, or, you know, whatever sort of day-to-day chores go with owning land in Hawaii. You'll have less of that to worry about. So it could be an advantage. Anyway, quick thing I want to point out to you guys. Here in the photo gallery, typically, as with all of our properties, we get about 40 photos taken from the land. Because these lots in Nanawale Estates are so sort of densely tree covered, I felt it would be visually redundant to have 40 photos of trees. So we've got a number of different types of photos here in the gallery. I just want to walk you through these. So first off, we've got photos from the entrance to Nanawale, and to give you a sense of the community itself. This community, of course, has an HOA, so what you're seeing out here as far as this picnic area, as far as local swimming pool, as far as parks and whatnot, this is all maintained by the HOA. Now, I'll get into the HOA more later, but their annual fees are $99 a year, which does a lot of things, but one of the things it does is, you know, helps preserve the quality of life out here and helps provide for things like the picnic and the, you know, playground area that we just looked at. So a minor price to pay for such a thing. Whatever the case, the Nanawale community photos end here, and this is where the property photos begins. This is Pakake and Puna, the corner of, and as you can see, paved roads out here, and there are power lines running up and down this region. And if we go through the photos, you'll see more of that. Obviously, Pakake looks like it's been a little torn up by rain. That happens in areas like this. My understanding, however, is that they do maintain these roads and regularly attend to them. So the photos were taken in January of 2020. You know, maybe if the first time you see this property is in June of 2020, these roads will be looking a lot better. Who knows? Whatever the case, they're not in bad shape. Certainly not in comparison to a lot of things we see in New Mexico. Anyway, power running up and down the street. As noted, there are neighbors on the street, so obviously the power lines are servicing their homes, can be servicing yours as well if you decide to build out here. As noted, the lots are sort of dense vegetation of Ohi'a and Albezia trees. Very pretty, but nonetheless, if you're going to build out here, you're going to want to get all that knocked down. So you can landscape the lot, so you can clear the lot, so you can, quote, doze the lot, bulldoze the lot. And I will get into that more in just a second. Anyway, after you go through all the photos from the property, there's about 15 of them total, then you're going to come across more photos from the community, these photos. So I asked my photographer to take photos of anything that's just sort of notable within about a 5-mile drive of the property. And as you can see, very charming area, very pretty area. I mean, it's exactly what you think of when you think Hawaii, as far as just really inviting, really kind of like laid back look to it, very pretty. Obviously, we got some churches here in nearby Pahoa, as well as just the sort of shopping centers, the little, you know, community stores that are out here close by to Nanawale Estates. So all the things that you'll have easy access to, banks and post offices, so on and so forth. I will let you peruse these on your own time. We also have photos from the nearby beaches in here. Point is, a lot of photos in the gallery, only 15 of which are from the property itself. That being said, I do believe those 15 will give you a good sense of what it looks like out there. Anywho, up here under county contact information, we have this link to the Nanawale Estates Community Association. This is what I had referenced earlier. Hang on, there it is. This is what I was referencing earlier. This is the HOA that collects $99 a year in fees. I should just have you guys know, if you're looking at this property, you're familiar with some of our other properties that we have that are 1 acre in size. This property is a scooch under the 1 acre in prices, but not that much, at least not on a price per acre basis. And if you're wondering why the disparity in price, it's because this is Well, I mean, the HOA is one reason, which is to say that this is a more developed region than Ocean View Estates, number one. Additionally, there are some covenants and restrictions here which are not meant as sort of onerous rules to, you know, essentially siphon money out of your pockets with you know, fees and ticketing and charges like that. But rather, it's a community that, you know, they take pride in their appearance out there. They want a sort of aesthetic uniformity, so they have rules to suggest what should be built, what shouldn't be built in the region. Additionally, they also, you know, monitor and take care of the region. They've got a sort of community patrol that polices the area, as well as they've got amenities like this, like the church down here and the community association that we talked about earlier. Point is, when you have an HOA in an area, when a developer comes in, chops up a whole bunch of land like this, resells it to homeowners and does that, people want to keep their property values high. They don't want them to drop. So generally there tend to be covenants, restrictions, rules essentially that you have to follow. And that, because it benefits, it's really more of a benefit to the community, tends to make the property more expensive. So on a price per acre basis, these, you know, fifth of an acre lots out here are roughly the same price as a 1 acre lot in Ocean View Estates. But, you know, the difference is, well, some people view it as a benefit and some people would prefer to live in the other community. Point being, just want to make you aware of it. Whatever the case, in regards to a lot of these rules and whatnot, I just want to show you guys up here, we've got a link, this PDF. It's linked here on the table, and it's also linked up here in our sort of property-specific notes. But these are the Nanawale covenants and restrictions, and if you click on that, it's going to take you to this document. It's 6 pages. It's all of the rules that basically, you know, go with the land, if you will. And if you read through this, what you're going to find is that these are not strict rules. These are not onerous rules. Really, many of these are just logical rules about things like nuisance, things like rubbish and trash, how things should be disposed of, noise, so on and so forth. If you read through these, I think you'll find it's pretty laid back, pretty relaxed. There are 3 CCRs we do want to make you aware of. They all have to do with building. The first one has to do with a time limit to build. A lot of people call and will ask, is there a time limit to build with this property? With this one there is, but just to be clear, you can buy this, do nothing with it for the next 50 years. The minute you break ground on it, though, is when they want to see, okay, whatever you're building here, we want to see it done within 1 year. Now, as I mentioned in other videos, what happens in month 13? Does somebody come and charge you money or something? I doubt it. But point being, they'd like to see construction, quote, diligently prosecuted. So, FYI. Additionally, rule number 2, no structure can be taller than 24 feet or 2 stories. So that, you know, might limit the size of the single-family residence that you're planning on building. And number 3, there's a minimum square footage requirement of 880 feet. So a lot of our buyers want to do things like tiny houses. Depending on your definition of tiny, that might work for you, it might not. But point being, 880 feet is the minimum square footage. And aside from those 3, that's really all that you read in those covenants that seems at all restrictive. So very light covenants. Again, I'd encourage you guys to read them on your own, particularly if you're interested in the lot. But I think it's a very agreeable HOA. Anyway, additionally, we also have some other notes here in the table I want to make you guys aware of. As noted, these lots are densely forested. If you're going to build out here, you need to get a permit from the Public Works Department. And then once you have the permit number, you submit that to Nanawale Estates, and then they're going to let you start dozing the land. For the record, we have this link here to a YouTube video. This is an owner out there in Nanawale did this video. It is long, it is informative, it is somewhat boring, but it is a guy dozing the land, and it goes for about an hour, and it takes you from start to finish through what that whole process looks like of somebody using a bulldozer on the property to kind of, you know, grade everything out. So maybe there are people who are better at this than others. Maybe there's a certain artistry, a certain finesse that you need with it. Whatever the case, it seems like there's a lot of locals in Hawaii who own bulldozers specifically for this purpose. Certainly contractors and whatnot. Anyway, so I just also want to point out, in regards that, we also have a link here to something called the Puna web. This is going to take you to this website, Puna Talk, where you can actually reach out to people who actually live in the Nanawale community if you do have questions about building out there, about dozing the land, things like that. And they can be of a good resource to you. I've also seen contractors recommended in here, people who doze properties. I, of course, am not going to repeat any names, but if you read through these, you'll see some of the same names coming up over and over again. So that can be a good resource. I tried looking up a Nanawale Facebook group. It doesn't seem to be a very active group. So I think the Puna Talk is actually a better resource for you. Additionally, I want to point out to you guys, we also have some notes here just about rainwater catchment systems. If you're going to be building on this land in Hawaii, wells are not common. What's common are rainwater catchment systems. So because it's a tropical climate, because it gets so much rainwater throughout the year, that's a viable solution to the how do I get water to my property problem. We have some links down here in the table that will help better inform you about them. One of the best here is Waterworks Hawaii. If you click on this, it's going to take you to their website. This obviously is a vendor in the local community who does these sorts of things, who sets up these tanks, and they can speak to you more about, practically speaking, what you need to know and what the costs are that are associated with this, what kind of permits you need, etc. Again, very common out there, so my guess is permits are not difficult or expensive to get. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, with all that said, all the links I just mentioned are repeated down here in the table. We've also got some points of interest links, such as the Big Island Travel Guide. There is so much to do in Hawaii. I would encourage you to click on this. I can, make a 40-minute video about everything you could do on this island. That being said, a website like this is an excellent resource. So, blah, blah, blah. In summation, I think this is a really good investment property, particularly if you're looking to do something like an Airbnb. It's a nice small lot. It's an affordable lot. And it's in a nice community with easy access to a lot of great things around it. If you do want to buy this property, guys, here's the way that you do it. We've got a couple ways we can close on this. The easiest is just click the Buy Now button. It's going to take you to the secure checkout page. Enter some information that we need for the deed, your name, marital status, tax address, so on and so forth. On the next page, you're going to enter credit and debit card information, and that's where you'll put down the $5,850 total that it takes to purchase the property. Once you do that, we're going to do what's called an attorney close, which is essentially we're going to reach out to our attorneys in Hawaii, and we're going to have them draft a new deed plus supplemental documentation for us. Because of the complexity of those documents, it's going to take them a few days to do that. Whatever the case, within a couple days, we're going to reach out to you via email. We're going to say, hey, here's a copy of the new deed. Once you approve it, once you say, yes, we spelled your name right and we got all your kids' names right or whatever, we're going to autograph it, notarize it, and mail it off to the county to be recorded. County records it, then they send it on to you. So from start to finish, in New Mexico, it's about 3 weeks before you have that in your hands. In Hawaii, practically speaking, it's more like 4 or 5. Whatever the case, that is the way that process works. Now, quick thing, guys, if you're looking at this saying, hey, I like the property, but I don't like giving some stranger on the internet $5,700, is there a different way to do this? Yes, there is. We can close through title and escrow. If you're not familiar with the escrow process, come up here to the How It Works page on our website, click the Buying From Us page, and it will take you here, and you can read more about this process. In essence, though, title escrow is a third-party intermediary, a neutral third party, not affiliated with us, who are going to vet the property, essentially make sure that we're conveying clear and marketable title to you. And once they've done all their work, they're going to ask you for the money. They're going to ask us to sign the deed, and they're going to escrow your funds, and we can't touch them until such a time as the property has been deeded into your name. So if you are skeptical about doing business online like this, this is an easy way to do it. That being said, we do ask for a $500 deposit up front to prove that you are serious. For the record, guys, you give us the $500, we draft a contract, we sign it, you sign it, we submit it to title, they do the rest. If you want to see what that contract looks like, just come here and click this link, and it'll take you to a generic version of one of our standard sale purchase agreements. As you can see, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, one page for signatures. You want your attorney to review it, that's fine with us. Anyway, with all that said, just one more thing I want to point out here. We get a lot of people who call us all the time about financing property. They don't have all the money, they have some of the money. Can they finance the property? We don't do that. We don't like to do it anyway. We do it sometimes. But Hawaii Federal Credit Union, this link right here will take you to their website. They do finance vacant land, which is unusual. You don't find that a lot. And they have from what I've seen on the website, they have very good interest rate of 4.7%. If we end up financing a property with you, we're going to have to finance it at a much higher rate, 10 to 15%. I don't like to do that. I don't really like to get involved with those things. And I would think if you're the buyer, you would not want. You'd prefer the 4.7% interest rate. So read through this website. There'll be a lot of information here about how their program works. If you'll be approved for that sort of loan, I imagine you would be, and exactly what they would require of the buyer and seller. And if you're able to get a loan from them, that'll be a nice, easy way to buy into some Hawaii real estate out here. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, with all that said, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys listening to me for this long. If you have any questions, shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com. Leave a comment here on the YouTube, or give us a call, 702-919-7170. We look forward to chatting with you. Anyway, see you in the next video, guys. Thanks again for watching.